Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast, presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin, here today with producer Kade Orris. Kade, how is it hanging? And when I say it, I do mean your penis.
It is hanging left today.
Not small and shriveled, though?
No.
Just to the left?
Yeah, just to the left.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know what it usually hangs like, but today it's gone left. I don't know if it likes to switch sides or not, but
I think I hang leftward, too.
yeah.
I lean left.
You lean
in more ways than one, you know?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you,
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know who Josh Groban is?
Yes.
You do. Okay. The reason
He's
I
an
asked,
actor, right?
I think he's done some acting, but I think he's more notably like a singer, maybe.
Googling.
So anyway,
Okay, not who I was thinking of.
who were you thinking of?
Josh. It starts with a G. Gad.
Oh, okay.
Different Josh.
Different Josh. But the reason I asked is because this past weekend I was out at the bars, typical of me to do, and someone
You
came.
drunk.
I am just a big old sloppy drunk.
You drunkard.
But someone came up to me at the bars and said, "You look like a celebrity." I'm like, that always gets me excited because like, oh, who do I look like? And the person said Josh Groban. I'm like, who the hell is Josh Groban? So I had to look him up, and yeah, he's just some fucking.
This does kind of look like you, though.
What? No, he doesn't.
I don't know.
How does he?
I think you have the same face shape.
Okay, no, I'm seeing.
You know what
the,
I'm saying?
The picture now.
It's the shape.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has, I guess, a couple songs.
I mean, the problem is he's almost 20 years older than you.
Yeah, that's not, or
But
16.
in
Yeah.
fairness, he looks extremely good for 42 years old. Like, if you told me that dude was 25, I would be like, okay. Like, I know you're 26. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that happens, though. Like, I remember being in middle school, high school. I could tell you within a grade how old somebody was, right? In my general 5-year, demographic there, right? Like, it was not difficult to tell just about how old somebody was when you're a kid. But then you get older, and now it's fucking impossible. Like, especially in my age range, dude, like, I know people that are 30 that look 45. I know people that are 40 that look 25. Like, I have no clue how old anybody is anymore. It's just like a big lump of tired adults.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea if, like, for a stranger, if they saw me on the street, I don't know how old I look. Like, I don't know how old I look. How old do I look to you?
I mean, I was going
Like,
to
if
say
you had
30s, but like I know like how old you are, so it's like hard to.
But
if you look,
I look
like
better than I did in my 20s, though. That's the fucked up part. Like, in my late 20s, I looked like I was going to die.
Well, that's just because you're overweight.
That's part of it. That was only like a 2-year span, though. I just mean, like, I guess when I was, like, not taking care of myself, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you don't look old to me, for instance. Like, if I
No.
saw you, I don't think I would guess over where you're at.
Over
Over
30,
26. Over 25, 26.
But yeah, so anyways, the whole rest of the night, I just like went out to the random strangers at the bars, like, hey, do you know who Josh Groban is? And not a single one knew who he was. I'm like, that's not very famous person I want to be compared to, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was sad, but I made some fun out of it. And I went up to people and I'm like, hey, I'm Josh Groban. Nice to meet you. And I'd be like, I'm Tony nominated award Broadway singer.
Yeah.
For like.
So you started introducing yourself as Josh Groban?
Yeah, just to see if like anyone would be like, oh my God, yeah, you are. Like, nothing.
Nothing?
No, sad.
Damn. Is this part of your strategy to just troll people at the bar?
Oh yeah. No, I was trolling hard.
Was that on Patreon that we talked about this?
Maybe. I don't know. I think we talked about it a couple of times.
I feel like it was Patreon. But Kade basically has this new thing he's doing where, like me, he deals with social anxiety. So he's reverse psychologying his way out of that sort of by going up to the strangers at the bar and saying the most random possible thing to break the ice. In this case, lying about his identity and stealing the identity of a 42-year-old Tony Award-winning singer.
Yeah, it says American singer on the Google.
Anyway, good-looking guy, though. I wouldn't take this as like a knock.
I guess, well, see, I was looking at like the ones without his facial hair, and he doesn't look great without it. So,
Okay, but here's the thing about people with facial hair. And you know this because you have facial hair. And I know this because I haven't been clean shaven since like 2015. I'm pretty sure the last time I fully shaved my face was before my first wedding. So it's been a minute. And we look completely different without facial hair. Like men look like most of us, it's not a good transition. Like we look like pedophiles or creepy, weird dude. Like it just, I probably will never go back, honestly.
no, I thought about it, but I think I look too weird. So I just gotta keep it how it is forever.
Even sometimes when I shave it real short, like when I like trim it down to like a 5 o'clock shadow look, it creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I need to have something there.
And it's not like I have something against my face. I just feel like I look even, it's white dudes. I look even pastier. That's what it is that bothers me.
Yeah. And it sucks for like all the guys that can't grow beards and mustaches because they always just look so much younger. It's not what you want.
I don't want to look older though. I just don't want to look like a psychopath or the most generic white man in the world.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is my look. Which is why when this came up recently, I believe again it was on Patreon, we talked about like the celebrity lookalike situation. Nobody ever tells me I look like anybody because I think I'm just a generic blob person. Like Kevin Bacon, what the fuck is that? That's the only time I can remember a single human being being like, you look like a famous person. And she was like, Kevin Bacon.
So I'd take Kevin Bacon over Josh Groban.
I don't know, man. I think I would take Josh Groban.
Yeah, but more people know who Kevin Bacon is. Like,
yeah, but it's not like his fame transfers to me.
I mean, you
somehow.
don't know. Like sometimes, like we've seen it with the
you think you're gonna get free shit.
Maybe people have done it before. You remember the fake Drake and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got sued though. Fake Drake.
Yeah. Well, don't see.
And fuck that guy too, man. I never liked that. That's a weird thing to do. Just like it's weird to go up to people at the bar and tell them you're Josh Groban.
But it's funny because like if I was like, I mean,
what if it worked and you got laid off of this? Then you have like a that's almost like a crime. You misrepresented yourself as Tony Award-winning singer Josh Groban. You gotta be careful. You can never be too careful, Kade.
Yeah.
Speaking of Patreon, up front, I wanted to remind everyone that the episodes we release publicly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other podcast platforms, wherever you may be listening, and YouTube, those make up exactly half the episodes that we record weekly. For the other episode, you have to go to patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast and subscribe for just $5 a month to support our show in exchange for the ad-free, premium, completely unhinged, fully nude episode that we do every week there on Patreon. So usually you get 4 a month. It's just like we drop them on later in the week, like Thursday or Friday usually, on Patreon, patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast. So get in there. Last week we talked about Kade and I's experience seeing Oppenheimer in theaters at 10 o'clock in the morning, which I'm still honestly emotionally recovering from that. We also talked about the leak disaster that has destroyed my kitchen at home. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you may have seen some documentation of this, but for 4 straight days, they ripped out all the floors, they ripped out a cabinet, everything that had water damage because the cold water line to my ice box in my refrigerator sprung some kind of a leak and water was coming up through the floorboards. Not ideal. All for some fucking ice, dude. That's the really infuriating part of all this. It's like over $10,000 in damage for some ice cubes, bro. And we talked about that on Patreon. Anyway, we had 3 giant fans and a huge dehumidifier in the downstairs of my house in the kitchen going 24 hours a day for 4 straight days. And no matter what room in the house you were in, upstairs or downstairs, you could hear it. But we pretty much had to stay only upstairs because you couldn't even hear each other. It's like you'd have to yell. It's like being at the club. What'd you say? And so we stayed pretty much only upstairs, and then we finally got the fans and the humidifier out yesterday, and now it's eerily silent in the house.
Oh, it's not like peaceful anymore. It's just like,
No, I think it's gonna take a few days to like adjust back.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's kind of creepy quiet. I don't know how to, like, I'm addicted to white noise now or something. But this morning I dealt with the insurance claims adjuster for about an hour and a half. It's the word, like, it sounds awful just saying it out loud, and it's the worst thing about being an adult that I've found.
dealing with the insurance.
Worse than paying taxes, worse than the responsibility. It's dealing with insurance people when something goes wrong. Because the guy is like, he's like this super nice guy. I had to do a fucking, like, basically a FaceTime with him this morning, but like to walk him through my kitchen and like show him, like, here's all the shit that's destroyed. And he's so nice. Like, he's so nice, but I know his job is literally to fuck me. Like, his job is to give me the smallest amount of money possible.
Yeah, no, you're kind of fortunate that the island wasn't there because he's probably going to bend you over right
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. Thankfully, they'd already ripped the island out. And thankfully, this was through the power of technology with my phone or whatever. But yeah, it's been an incredibly annoying experience. Like, honestly, I'm doing okay. My wife is not happy with the situation because it's like there's just fucking, it's the floor under the floor. That's the kitchen right now. And we've got 4 dogs and 2 kids running around, and it's probably not as safe. In my dumb man brain, I'm like, this is fine. This is fine. But to her, she's like, the dust and the shit, there's like, the kids are exposed to it. Somebody could like stick their hand in and get taken by a ghost. I don't know. But to me, I'm kind of chilling at this point. I don't know why it hasn't bothered me as much as it's bothered her. But the insurance people do bother me because it's kind of like what I imagine it's like being like a girl in the bar when a dude is trying to pick you up. And you know that he's trying to pick you up because he'll say anything. And that's what it's like with this dude. He'll say he's Josh fucking Groban. And that's what it's like with this dude on the phone. Like, he's being so nice and so helpful, but I just know all he wants to do is fuck me. And that is hard. I've got a question for you since you asked me one.
Okay.
How often do you buy, like, all right, how old is the pillow you sleep on?
Oh, geez. I
exactly.
literally don't have an answer.
Did you sleep on it in college?
No, I think I had different ones for college. I think I just
like after you graduated, you got
probably
adult pillows or some shit?
I had like a different like bed. So like I had my bed at home, and then I had mine in college. So I just threw the stuff out.
Just burned the one from college. It's a wise move, yeah.
And then I just had the one from home still. So I don't know how old those pillows are, but they're nice.
So what is, when you, well, I guess at this point, I'm not even sure if you do this anymore, if it's the cleaning lady, but when you take your pillowcase off the pillow, are you looking at a clean pillow?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I also have like, so you have like the pillowcase, and then you have like the thing that zips up over it, right?
Nah. You have an extra layer?
Oh, dude, I got like 2 extra layers.
Is this where I'm fucking up? Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because yesterday I was like, I'm going to do me and my wife a solid. I'm going to clean the fucking sheets and the pillowcases and the blanket that goes over the sheets.
The comforter?
I'm going to get the whole shit clean. It's not really a comforter, though. She doesn't rock with the comforter the way you and I do. Like, your bed, when I see it through the door, I'm like, that's the same setup I have. But this is like a fucking thin, heavier blanket, though. Mm-hmm. I've always been a comforter boy. She switched up my whole sleepy time life. But I took the pillowcase off, my pillowcase specifically, and I'm looking at this pillow, and I was just like, dear God. I mean, it looks like somebody has like pissed and shit and like rubbed it all. There's like brown spots and stuff, and I don't really know where that comes from, like what that's the result of, but I was thinking about it because it bothered me, clearly. And I was like, it must be the accumulation of like sweat, you know, like the oils and stuff off your face, right? And off your hair, right? Plus the dogs, like the dogs probably sometimes when I'm not home, God knows what they're doing to the pillow.
They're taking a shit in your pillow.
Humping the pillow, probably. So there's like all, like the accumulation over time, no matter how clean I keep the actual pillowcase, the pillow underneath it is frankly disgusting at this point. Like, it looks really bad. And I feel like I'm probably in the window where I should get a new pillow. Like I know with like a mattress, for example, I think it's every 8 years you're supposed to get a new mattress or like flip it or something. You know.
I don't know about flip. I've never heard that, but
some people, the old school mattresses where it's the same on both sides, you're supposed to flip it. But like my mattress that I have now, you can't flip it. It's a one-way street.
It doesn't go both ways. No,
it doesn't go. But it's not by. But the pillow, I'm now curious about because I'm not worried about my mattress. It's still comfortable. There's not like any fucked up dents on it. Albeit there are some stains on there too. When I take the sheet or the cover off the mattress, I'm like, oh fuck. But it's not that bad. The pillow is bad. It looks really bad. And I don't know if I like sweat a lot in my sleep or I'm like an oily, dirty person, but it doesn't look good under there, and it can't be like hygienic.
Probably
is that a word even?
Hygienic? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah.
Good. Okay. But anyway, if anybody out there is like a pillow expert, how often do you get a new pillow? I feel like the answer is probably somewhere in the ballpark of every 5 years, just because of how much, like, I don't know if it's like stuff's coming out of your ears when you're sleeping at night too, maybe?
Yeah, like earwax. That's something that comes out of your ears.
I'm just saying, it's deceptively disgusting, my pillow. And I love my pillow. That's the thing about it. It's not a my pillow, by the way. Like it's not one of those. No, it's a. You could probably guess if you've been listening to the show for a long time, because the pillow comes from a company that used to sponsor us. But I love the pillow. I'm a big fan of it. It's my favorite pillow I've ever had, and I don't want to part ways with it. And I feel like it's probably like $50 for a good pillow or something like that too. I don't know how much these things cost. How much is a banana anyway? $10? But, so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about.
Yeah, no, I don't have this problem at all.
Pillow
My
shelf
pillows
life.
look super clean.
Immaculate?
Yeah.
Well,
it's also like a Tempur-Pedic one.
Sick.
It's not like made by them, but it's like the same like material.
Yeah, it's
or whatever.
a My Pillow.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
What was that guy's name? That guy was fucking crazy.
My Pillow?
The My Pillow guy? Remember, you know who I'm talking about? My Pillow founder.
Guy with the mustache?
Michael Lindell. Yeah. When you Google his name, the first thing that comes up is his book, which was titled, "What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO." It's really just straightforward title for his book.
Oh, he wrote a book too.
Yeah. It's a raw, authentic account by a man many thought would never rise above his serial addiction-fueled failures. It's probably not supposed to be funny, but it is. Anyway, my pillow's fucked up. That's what I'm getting at here, and I'm struggling with making a decision on how to fix that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer is just get another pillow. That seems the easiest option for you.
Thank you for being here for me.
Yeah, no,
in this time
I'm always here for you. Yeah,
great need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by Indochino. Looking sharp all wedding season long shouldn't be expensive. With a custom-fitted suit from Indochino, you'll create priceless memories without spending a fortune. Customize every detail on your suit, shirt, dinner jacket, and more in a range of colors from traditional black or gray to burgundy or olive to a classic Hemsworth navy. I will be wearing Indochino to J-Bone's wedding, which is coming up, and can tell you personally, the Indochino experience is incredible, whether you go to one of their showrooms and get measured up, or you just do it from home. I have done both now. I've been to the Indochino brick and mortar in Austin, the first time I bought an Indochino suit, but for my most recent order, I just measured myself at home and I checked out all their stuff strictly on their website online. The end result is still the best custom clothing experience I have ever had. I have the most recent one I got is the Stockport wool linen olive suit, and I also got a Halesworth basket weave shirt. It's a look you can find on my Instagram at WRBolin that many of you have complimented me on. It's my favorite suit and shirt I have ever owned. The suit is a beautiful, like a forest green. And, the shirt has like my monogram on it and whatnot. It looks great. Got all that just from ordering on my computer at home. A lot of you have asked me about that green suit. So again, it's on my Instagram, and it's the Stockport wool linen olive suit that you can check out on Indochino. Every Indochino suit is made to your exact measurements, and you can customize every detail, create a suit that fits you and your style perfectly, with options for fabrics, lapel shape, custom monograms, statement linings, and more. They are always adding new pieces and options so you can stay on trend and in style every season. RSVP, knowing you've got the perfect look all wedding season long from Indochino. Go to Indochino.com, use code RBP, and you will get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO, Indochino.com, promo code RBP. All right, Kade, we were going to save our discussion of Travis Scott's new album, Utopia, for Patreon this week, because if one of the things we do on Patreon, if you've never been, is Kade, being a decade younger than me, keeps me up to date on the latest happenings in the music world with album reviews. And you usually do 3 at a time. We've got 3 coming this week. One of them was going to be Utopia, though, so maybe only 2, or you'll need to find another one.
I got another one.
Good.
Yeah.
A backup?
Yeah, I got backup.
All right, so I got the chance to listen to it several times through. And I guess I should start with the positive. I really like it. Like, I really, really like it. It's got many jams on it. Bangers, as you would call them, Kade. And, I mean, as a workout album, it's great. Because there's not a lot of substance.
No.
I'll say that as a negative. I'm not leaving this thing in deep thought. Or, like, reconsidering certain elements of my life or childhood or family. Like, it's just bangers. Right?
But that's kind of what I want from Travis.
Sure. It's what you've come to expect
I want
at
to
this
rage.
point.
And
yes. Exactly, right? Great songs to pregame to. That's what you could call the album if you wanted to. Like, it really, for the most part, there's a couple that are a little more like 808s and Heartbreak than they are Yeezus, which brings me to my next point. This is just Yeezus 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
There has perhaps never been an artist who has benefited more from another artist's existence than Travis Scott from that of Kanye West. And that was his start. He was essentially Kanye's protege. So it's not like shocking that he's adapted some of his sound, right? Like there's been several songs where I can't tell if I'm listening to Travis Scott or Kanye West. That is like 90% of Utopia. Like, I kept going, oh shit, is that Ye? Did he do a feature? And he did not. Just spoiler alert.
But there were a couple songs that were supposed to be, I don't think it was Donda, but it might have been Yandi maybe, that were like beats that Kanye made, and then I think he gave them to Travis for this one.
What's interesting is Mike Dean, obviously...
Or it might have been Mike Dean, yeah.
He did a bunch of the production for this. And I think the majority of the songs he created the beats for, and then he did the mastering or whatever. You know how after it's all done, they like go in and like make it sound as good as it can or whatever. I'm not a fucking DJ. I don't know what that. I'm producer. I don't know what that entails. But Mike Dean, the dude from what's that HBO show?
The Idol.
The Idol. I already forgot the name. The HBO show with The Weeknd. Basically, him and Kanye were like attached at the hip through the whole Donda and Donda 2 era of Kanye West. And if you're like, Ross, you said you wouldn't talk about Kanye anymore, this is a loophole because we're talking about Travis Scott. After Kanye went all I love Hitler and the Nazis, him and Mike Dean essentially broke up. And 2 people, I think, were like, all right, Mike, now it's you and me. The Weeknd and Travis Scott. And I get the feeling that's pretty much all the time Mike has and all the money he needs right there is just focusing on those 2 artists. And then he creates some of his own shit like that's inconsequential by comparison. But Mike Dean basically took the sound that he cultivated with Kanye and made this Utopia album is my read. Because it sounds like if you listened to Yeezus, which came out in 2013, so that's 10 years ago that Yeezus came out. And when it came out, most people were like, "Ooh, what is this? Like, this is too loud and like hard and rough. Like, this is not it's not what they expected from Kanye West or from hip hop at that point, really." And if you go back and watch interviews, Kanye would say shit like, I'm 10 years ahead. I'm always 10 years ahead of everybody else. I'm thinking into the fucking future. I live in the future. I am the future. And it was like, all right, you're a lunatic. But now he actually looks even more correct because 10 years later, on the dot, Travis Scott has dropped an album that literally sounds like it's like he went into the studio and was like, I want to make Yeezus for 2023. And then that's what they did. And the fucked up part is that it works. Like, it worked. It's good. It really is good. Like, this is like, it was a big moment for him in his career to go through all the Astroworld shit, right? The tragedy, what had to have been an extremely difficult situation for him to get through, even if he did a terrible job of conveying that to the public. And to pop out 3 years later and drop something, like, it needed to be good for him to maintain his momentum as one of the most, like, influential musicians to Gen Z, I would say. He generally seems to be one of the most popular fucking dudes in the game.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Especially to the generation below me. With the shoes, he's got his own Nike shit going. He's like one of those it guys, right? That he knows how to move in the public eye. That's one thing you can't deny.
He can market it himself pretty well.
The guy knows what he's doing from a marketing standpoint. As annoying as I found his marketing for this album, see you in Utopia. It's like, shut the fuck up,
that damn
dude.
briefcase.
Fucking briefcase.
Everywhere.
Fucking Pyramids of Giza concert that didn't even happen. Now he's like moved to, they're doing something in like a Coliseum in Rome instead. That'll probably get canceled too. But the point is, the album is enjoyable especially if you're like, if you liked Jesus, you will love this shit. I mean, I would say it's like almost an upgrade, because there is a gap to be filled here that Travis Scott was more in line than anyone else to fill. He was already basically Kanye's little, mimicker. And like he just kind of was following his lead and like making shit that sounded just like him. His voice sounds like him. Well, Kanye's pretty out. It's hard to be more out than he is right now. And that was one of the inarguably top 5 most popular music makers in the world. So I totally understand the strategy of just being like, all right, I'm just going to call Mike Dean and just go ahead and fucking bite the shit out of this sound and create my own thing. But he even there's things that he does from like Donda, where he said, like, where Kanye says things like, we're going to go out all night. Like, he does that high voice thing.
Yeah.
Like, Travis does that a whole bunch of times on this album. Like, there's a lot of direct Kanye. Like, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm having a hard time believing that Kanye is going to be okay with this. That's how much it sounds like his.
What do you think, he's going to, like, try to sue him or something?
No. He'll probably just make some incredibly lame public statement. Or maybe not, because Travis is the one who got him to be able to go to his daughter's birthday party that one year or whatever, when the Kardashians wouldn't tell him where it was. He's like, you know what? You can have my sound. But it's such a bite that if I was him and I was as unhinged as he is, I would flip the fuck out. Well, you took the producer and did the exact same vibe as something I did 10 years ago, and you're good, and it worked, and it's good, and people are enjoying it. Like, that would piss me off if I was as unhinged as Kanye is. So it's just an interesting thing to see, because, like, look, all art is inspired by other art. It's funny, Brandon Rankin, our lawyer and my dear friend, he sent me a link to a comedian the other day from like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, that sounded almost exactly like Mitch Hedberg. And this is before Mitch Hedberg. And if you don't know who Mitch Hedberg is, he's dead. He died of a heroin overdose, but he was hysterical. His one-liners were next level, like maybe the best ever. But this dude, when he sent me the clip and I was listening to it, because he told me, like, I think this is where Hedberg got his inspiration. And I started watching the clip and I was like, this sounds like Anthony Jeselnik, another comedian. My point is, everybody finds something that they like and then they mimic that in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just getting their start, and then they create their own wave or their own sound or their own brand or whatever. Most artists, whether it be stand-up comedians or musicians or painters, they're inspired by another artist, and that's where they get their vibe, right? Like, that's how it works, generally. And to a certain extent, that's completely fine, not upsetting anybody. But if you just start, like, riding somebody's wave to the point that, like, they're going to think you're just style biting, that's when it becomes a problem. And this feels like if this isn't a problem, then I don't think there's anything that could be a problem when it comes to music, because it's like, it's that much of a copy. And maybe it's more of like an homage to how much he loved that and how much he likes Ye's sound or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he found a way to sell it to him.
I'd probably guess that would be his reasoning. I'm sure he got a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Travis has also been doing like these kinds of like this kind of music for like a while now. It's not like he just like completely switched up to like this Yeezy
Right.
style kind of music. So it wasn't like that. Like out.
No, but just from like as a guy who I really liked Yeezus as an album, and I went and saw that. Like when I saw that concert, it was still to this day the best musical performance I've ever seen live, the most entertaining all around musical concert I've ever been to, right above Lizzo. It really stuck with me, and I mean I got 3 songs into this thing into Utopia and was like, holy shit, this is wild. Like it is like. There is stuff that is taken like directly from it. And I was just kind of shocked at how much he rode the wave of something from a decade ago. And then some of the Donda stuff too, which is a little bit more recent. But yeah.
Got any favorites?
Oh, I don't know the names of the songs.
Oh, you don't?
Nah.
You know who's on it though? They finally put the features on there.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it was huge. I was like, because I could not tell you who was on what for the longest time, but.
Who was on there that was surprising to you?
I mean, like no one. It wasn't like surprising, really. It was just like a lot, and I couldn't like the songs like switch up so much. Like he's doing like beat switches like 3 times in one song.
Did not recognize Beyonce. Did not know that she was on there at all. SZA. How do we say her name?
I just
Is
say
it SZA? SZA?
Yeah.
First of all, I love her.
Because like RZA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just kind of take it like that.
Same thing. All right. So that song, I definitely recognized her. I definitely recognized James Blake. Obviously, I know 21 Savage and Future and Kid Cudi. And I did spot West Side Gun. I was stoked about that.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking talking sideways out of his face.
Like the Playboy Cardi one. Like I could hear like when he does the what?
Yeah.
Like I knew that, but like his actual verse, I could not. I was like, who is this? Because like I like when I heard the what, I was like, oh, Cardi's gonna have a verse, and then like it was someone completely different. It sounded like so. I was like, this isn't him, but okay.
If I had to pick some favorites, God's Country is cool. Meltdown with Drake is obviously those two don't.
Yeah, you know he takes a shot at Pharrell and Pusha T.
Yeah, dude, he said he's gonna melt. Like he bought all those. Oh no, I'm fucking playing it. Oh, my mistake. He bought those chains from Pharrell.
Yeah,
I remember reading this story because this is how invested in Pharrell and Drake I am apparently. And he bought these old Pharrell pieces, and then in the song he says he's gonna melt them down. He doesn't give a fuck about that heritage shit, and says like it's his boss too. He refers to him as Pusha T's boss. I like that they're keeping this beef going though, because there's no exciting beef in hip hop.
No, but I didn't know that like him and Pharrell and Drake were beefing now, or is that just because
I think it's just connected.
Pusha T?
Yeah. That's Pusha and Pharrell have always been. Like, he was signed to Star Trek back in the day. That was who Clips was signed to, which I think is getting back together, by the way, which is confusing because the whole reason that they broke up, I thought, was that his brother was, like, full Christian, didn't want to do anything related to sinning anymore, and now they're, like...
Didn't want to talk about...
Moving coke, moving bricks, flying birds. But, yes, that whole thing has been confusing. Anyway, getting beside the point here, overall, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed this thing. And like I said, I've been through it 4 or 5 times now, and there's not really any skips on it.
Yeah, I don't really like the one with Beyonce or Paracel with Dave Chappelle.
Didn't notice that? What does Dave do?
He just like talks a little bit.
Okay.
Like, he's not like dropping a verse or anything.
Chappelle did the intro on one of Killer Mike's songs on his new album for the song with Young Thug, Run.
Oh yeah,
for the single, and on the album Chappelle does this long lead in, and it's incredible. It's really, really good. But I don't even remember hearing Chappelle on this thing. I must have been like mid pump, just fucking focused on moving heavy weight, you know? Yeah. Any other thoughts on Utopia?
Honestly, no. That about covers it.
Oh,
really.
that Bad Bunny in the Weeknd song is trash.
Oh, you don't like that one?
No, I mean it's okay for like a pick me up song in the bar or whatever, I guess.
I feel like it's more like a beach vibe kind of thing.
Yeah,
like, if
sure.
you play on the beach, like I could jam out to that.
When I listen to the whole album, that is not the one I would have picked to like put out as the.
Oh God, no.
It's not representative of the rest of the thing. It's the least Yeezus sounding song on the whole album.
Well, maybe that's why he chose
That might
it.
be why.
No,
might
throw
be
you
why.
off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it worked. Anyway, I was into this thing. I dig it. It's a lot of songs. I like that too. 19 songs. It's not some like fucking 7-song deal. I hope that trend is over. That sucked when people were just dropping 7-song albums.
Yeah, but I
Pusha
also
T
don't want
did
to
it
like
once.
over like it was nice he did 19 because like anything over 20, I'm just like
No,
that's just
and it
too
needs to be
much.
good.
Yeah.
Don't just throwing a bunch of filler and trash and shit. But I feel like they did a really good job with this. Him and the ridiculous team of talented people around him that make sure his shit rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mike Dean, at this point, I feel like should be the most respected producer in rap. I don't know why he's maybe not, but he's just such a weird cat. Maybe that's a part of it. But that dude, he's the synth god, kid. You know?
Isn't that what they call him in The Idol?
It's what they call him in real
Or
life.
in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the synth god. That's what he calls himself. I should be specific.
Oh, he gave himself that nickname?
I don't know if he gave it to himself, but he definitely utilizes it. And in fairness, he is the synth god. I judge him as that as well. Anyway, check out Travis Scott's Utopia if you haven't already. It is good. If you're a fan of his stuff, then you'll probably like this, would be my assessment. It doesn't feel like a miss.
No.
And he just capitalized on a vibe that already existed, which turns out it's not the worst idea. It just doesn't put him in the same category as people who are going out and creating their own sound. That's pure artistry, like at the top, right? Like that's what SZA does, for example. This is not that, but it's a mainstream hit, you know. So what can you say? I still think Kanye is going to lose his fucking shit. The problem is if he loses his shit, I don't even know where we get to find out about it anymore.
Well,
Like
he
he's
got
banned from everywhere,
I thought he
right?
got unsuspended from Twitter.
He did get unsuspended from the app formerly known as Twitter, but then
I'm not
he,
gonna say X. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
Like,
I
would
know
never say
nobody
that,
is.
so.
No, but literally
Yeah.
nobody is. But then he went on that anti-Semitic rant and pumped out a swastika as his new presidential campaign logo, and Elon rebanned him. I would also note Travis Scott has a bar on this album that says, "I'm loyal, bitch. I've got yay over Biden."
Oh yeah, I did catch that.
Which I just have to say, that is
Maybe he recorded that before.
a complete waste of a vote. No, he definitely didn't. I definitely understand what. Look, I think that's part of the reason he's able to get away with this. Is I think he's giving the dude due and proper credit, and probably to his face as well. But yeah, you shouldn't vote for. I don't care who you vote for, but vote for somebody that's in one of the on the ballot, probably, right? Like that. That feels like a waste of a vote to write in Kanye West. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway. Today's episode is also brought to you by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs, making the most comfortable and versatile shorts, pants, and bathing suits in the entire world. I've been wearing them for several years now. They cannot be beaten. I wear them to sleep, to do yard work, to work out, to go swimming. I wear them to do everything. They fit great, they feel great, and they look great. They're just great shorts. I would argue the greatest, and I have a drawer in my dresser that is literally comprised entirely of Bird Dogs at this point. I've got the Art Fart Knockers, Duffy, the Vampire Slayers, Uncle Bucks, Teddy Rubskins, they all have funny names, Forest Pumps, Marco Pool Boys, Zero Dark 30s, and the Tight Wads. If you want to look like money while you're working in the yard or swimming in the pool this summer, Bird Dogs are the move, friend. And their pants are great for the golf course, the office, or going out to dinner or hitting the bars. They look nice, like you're wearing some good-looking slacks, except they're incredibly breathable and comfortable, and nobody will even know. And now they've got great-looking polo shirts that are just as comfortable as their shorts. I got my polo in the mail yesterday. It's great. So click on the link in the description below to go to birddogs.com/Bolin and enter code Bolin at checkout, and they will throw in a free Bird Dogs tech hat with every order. It's just a beautiful Bird Dogs hat with the logo on it for free when you go to birddogs.com/Bolin and use code Bolin at checkout to support the show and get that free hat. Birddogs.com, code BOLEN. Time for some insane headlines of the day. The first one I did not see coming. Lizzo's former dancers sue her for alleged sexual harassment, weight shaming, and creating a hostile work environment.
Shocking.
She's the new Ellen.
Yeah.
It's Lizzo. I mentioned Lizzo earlier, and I'll just retell a quick story. I went to go see a concert in Austin at Stubbs outdoor venue, and I can't even remember who it was. I want to say it was Citizen Cope, and Lizzo opened, and I got there early, and no one knew who Lizzo was at this point. Got there early and just happened to catch her show, and I was like, holy God, it was incredible. Like, I was joking earlier when I said it was like the second best live show I've ever seen. But it was incredible. And like, you could tell immediately, like, oh shit, she's going to be a huge star. This is crazy. She's also from Houston. So I was like immediately down to rep because, H-Town. But this story is pretty wild. I'll read you a little bit of it from Variety. Lizzo and her production company are being accused of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment by a trio of the team's former dancers, according to a legal complaint filed Tuesday, today. The dancers, plaintiffs Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez, have alleged sexual, religious, and racial harassment, disability discrimination, assault, and false imprisonment, among a slew of other charges. So when I read those, your ears kind of perk up because you're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did she do? So I'll continue reading. One of the most striking details of the suit alleges dancers were pressured, due to fear of losing their jobs, to touch nude dancers during a live sex show in Amsterdam's red light district, notoriously known for its prostitution, sex theaters, nude bars, and clubs. The lawsuit states, quote, the main event of the night was a club called Bananenbar, where patrons are allowed to interact with completely nude performers. While at Bananenbar, things quickly got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas. Lizzo then turned her attention to Miss Davis, one of the dancers, and began pressuring Miss Davis to touch the breasts of one of the women performing at the club. Lizzo began leading a chant, goading Miss Davis. Miss Davis said 3 times, loud enough for all to hear, "I'm good," expressing her desire not to touch the performer. So, just to reiterate, basically, Lizzo took 3 of her dancers, maybe more, to a sex show in Vegas.
In Amsterdam?
In Amsterdam, excuse me. We're going to talk about Vegas in a little bit. My mind's on Vegas. And one of the things that she had them do, I guess, peer pressured them into was eating a banana out of somebody's snatch, and also catching a dildo shot from somebody's.
They're just firing it from their snatch.
I guess that's one of the things that they do there. I wouldn't know.
Oh, very talented.
Never been to Amsterdam, but yeah, it sounds like that's
can we take a work trip there? Maybe
quite a bit of force.
Go to Bananenbar.
Bananenbar. Yeah, we can go to Bananenbar. We'll go for your 2-year Bowling Media anniversary.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah, it's real soon.
All right,
yeah.
But
so
I've been
pack your shit. We're going to Bananenbar.
I've been in Miss Davis's shoes though before as a stripper.
That's true.
Yeah, I got coerced.
Coerced?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Into
coerced.
Coerced.
That sounds like when you're like one of the 2 people inside the horse costume.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're gonna kind of talk about that too, aren't we?
Yeah, we are a little bit. We'll get coerced.
But yeah, when I had to spit a White Claw into another female's mouth, and then she did the exact same thing to me.
And you didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it.
You were
but
coerced though.
I was coerced, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they all started chanting my name, which wasn't my name, so I was really confused at the time. But
yeah, Stripper Cade's life is confusing though.
It is.
It is a confusing life that Stripper Cade has led. Your name is fucking Cam and CJ. You got all kinds of different aliases you're rolling around with at this point.
Josh Groban now.
Josh Groban. Nobody knows who you are. Bananenbar. Anyway, so my read, all right, taking, empathy completely out of the situation. It sounds like she fired 3 people and they were like, man, fuck Lizzo. And then they went back and like retroactively deemed moments of maybe some peer pressure was involved for sure, right? But like, you're an adult, say fucking no if you don't want to eat a banana out of somebody else's pussy. That is not a difficult decision to make. Like, at a certain age, you have to disallow peer pressure from making you eat food out of somebody else's vagina if you don't want to. You know?
Sure, yeah.
There is nothing anyone could say to get me to eat a banana out of a stranger's snatch. Even if it was Lizzo or Josh Groban or Drake or Travis Scott or Mike Dean himself. I'm not doing that. That doesn't seem like a fucking, like, speaking of my dirty ass pillow and hygiene, this doesn't seem hygienically sound.
Well, what if like the peel is like still like in there, but like the banana
Okay,
is
maybe.
out?
At that point, I
Then
feel
you'll take a
safer.
bite?
I feel
Yeah.
more safe. Like the juices can't have soaked into the nanner
No.
as much.
No.
Banana. I love the Minions movies. My son is eating bananas now, by the way. We started to be able to give
Yeah,
him
it's
real
like-
food.
Mush them up or
Yeah, you know, cut them into little pieces. We don't just like hand him a full
you just
banana.
go to town.
I don't stick it in my ass and turn around and let him eat it out of there or anything crazy. But no, he eats like soft foods now. So he takes like human shits instead of baby shits. Awful side effect of them eating real food. Like his shits are just it's just shit now. It's just it's man shit. Just like your shit or my shit, Kade. Changing a diaper before was a hell of a lot easier than it is now, and it reeks like poo should.
Yeah, that's usually
It's just not a
what
good
happens,
phase. I
yeah.
just thought I would, you know, open up and share that little tidbit about my son's bowel movements for everybody really quickly while we talk about Lizzo potentially harassing and discriminating. I'm not seeing the racial discrimination.
Yeah, there's only like is there only one like case of this or like
No,
where are they like because they mentioned a lot of different like
Yeah, the religious part. Apparently, there was some. Somebody found out one of these dancers wasn't a Christian, and then that got like held against them in some way, shape, or form. I don't really know. I don't know where the disability discrimination came in either. But the main, most alarming story is this one from Amsterdam at Bananenbar, which I feel like the attendance on a nightly basis at Bananenbar is going to skyrocket as a result of this story. But yeah, just not what you would expect from Lizzo. Some of the accusations are extremely lacking in substance, I would say. Like the one about weight.
yeah, that's another one that kind of threw me off.
Well, Lizzo's a big girl.
Yeah.
She celebrates that, right? Once everybody, you know, body positivity, I would say, was like 80% of her brand as she rose up from nobody that I saw at Stubbs to a Grammy Award winning, one of the most famous musicians on the earth. So it would be fucking weird if Lizzo was fat shaming dancers, but that's what they're accusing her of. And we'll see what happens. I feel like with stuff like this, the artist usually just ends up like paying out like some amount of money to just get it to go away.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, which is always difficult because the public perception becomes that you're like, for some people, it becomes that you're guilty if you paid it out. And for some people, you know, it's like it never happened. So, Bananenbar.
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 Can't wait to go there.
Is the play on the word? Is it like Bananenbar because of the banana vagina? Like,
Yeah, is that their
thing?
whole shtick?
Like, that's just not that clever. It is pretty funny.
But yeah, do they just have like bananas everywhere? Is it like
know.
a banana themed?
Like, is that the thing?
Do they have like banana couches and all that? I don't know.
I just want to see somebody launch a dildo out of their vagina. Like, I've heard of like ping pong balls and stuff,
Yeah.
but that's like lightweight. A dildo's got some, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it could be a smaller dildo.
Yeah. No, not too banana themed. It looks like.
You got pictures of this thing up on
Yeah.
on the internet?
I do.
Bananenbar. I want to look. I want to see. Bananenbar. It's in the red light district.
Oh, no, that's not.
See, there's no. Well, there's a girl feeding another girl a
Yeah,
banana.
I saw that, but that's
There's a guy
about all the-
laughing hysterically. I bet he just got a dildo shot at him.
Or maybe he just ate a banana.
Or he just ate a banana, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, can never be too careful when you're in Europe. Walk into a random bar that you thought was going to be Minion themed, and then next thing you know,
a dildo in the eye.
Schwack! Right in the face. Next headline. Our bears are real, a Chinese zoo says, denying they are humans in disguise. You have to pull up. Okay, so we did this animal as Animal of the Week at one point on the show. It's called the sun bear. But at this particular Chinese zoo, and apparently this is a problem in China, these sun bears really legitimately do look like bullshit. Like, it looks like they were like, all right, we don't have enough animals. Carl, you got to put on the bear suit and get out there and entertain these fucking kids. It looks like a human being in a bear costume out there, like, how you doing, children? You know, and it looked like he looks like a fucking Disneyland, like when you're at a theme park and you see like Mickey Mouse walk by. But I'll read you some of the story from ABC News. A zoo in eastern China is denying suggestions some of its bears might be people in costumes after photos of the animals standing like humans circulated online. The sun bears from Malaysia are smaller than other bears and look different, but are the real thing, the Hangzhou Zoo said Monday on its social media account. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce Chinese cities. Ignorant American scum. Quote, some people think I stand like a person, said the posting, written from the bear's point of view. It seems you don't understand me very well, it finishes. An employee who answered the phone at the zoo declined to talk about the bears, that's suspicious, but said visits were being arranged for reporters Monday to see them. And that's how bad it's gotten, apparently. Like, they're dealing with so many accusations of their bears not being real that they're having to invite the press in to examine the bears and prove their bareness, I suppose. It says internet users questioned whether the zoo's bears were real after photos circulated online showing one standing upright on slender hind legs. Quote, because of the way they stand, some people online question whether they are humans in disguise, the newspaper in this Chinese city said. Sun bears are the size of large dogs, standing at 50 inches tall on their hind legs, compared with up to 9 feet for grizzlies and other species, according to the zoo. Other Chinese zoos have also been accused of trying to pass off dogs dyed to look like wolves or African cats, and donkeys painted to look like zebras. So it sounds like there's some precedent to this tomfoolery at Chinese zoos, and that's what's people got people all mixed up here. But like, if you go look at the sun bear, you will see why this is happening. They just like, I swear to God, when we did that Animal of the Week on the sun bear, I'm pretty sure we talked about this. Like, it literally looks like a person wearing a bear costume. These are absurd. But the images circulating online do look and you can find them on X. They do look enough like bullshit to make me wonder.
I will say, I'm looking at the video and it kind of looks saggy in the back.
Yeah, that's what's screwing this Chinese zoo.
Yeah.
Because that looks like excessive fabric.
Yeah, no, they didn't get it fitted right.
It wasn't made by Indochino.
No, they took the wrong measurements.
Right. But it's a distrust in the Chinese and their government, for one thing, that I think is throwing people here. And then two, the particular animal always looks a little suspicious. But this one, like, you see how, like, right below its head there's this hole that looks like it could be where, like, the person breathes or something. But just...
I mean, I think someone just needs to get up close and personal with it and
get in there and wrestle.
Yeah.
I just think this is a hilarious idea, though. Like, we should open a zoo and just start putting people in animal costumes.
Yeah. Well, there is a guy that paid $14,000 to dress up as a dog. Like, I
did see that.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're already off to a good start there.
How is it that cheap? Like the joke I made on Twitter, $14,000? I spent more than on the fucking kitchen repairs. Like, he turned himself into a border collie. If you haven't seen this, just Google border collie man, and that'll do it.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, it turns out. $14,000 and you can become a dog.
Wow, yeah.
I didn't even click on that story. I can't tell you how many times it's been sent to us, dude.
I thought we were going to talk about that today.
That's why I couldn't do it. I was like, this is too obvious.
Yeah.
This is too obvious. Surely there's another podcast that can focus on the ins and outs of this man that turned himself into a dog. I just don't. I don't know what to say about that.
Do you think you have to have like training to be a sun bear? Like, what's the process of becoming one of these?
Well, you need claws for sure. They got long claw, like fingernails.
Well, no, I'm talking about like as a person, like dressing up as a bear. Like, do you have to like study like their habits and stuff, and like, because you can't just like be doing nothing.
Probably the noises they make are the most important thing to be able to nail the roar, you know, or the grumble.
Or when do you know to roar? Like, is it just like at your discretion? Like, I feel like roaring right now.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. You put yourself in the bear's.
Yeah, you got a method
skin,
act.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a good enough actor in a good sun bear suit, though, nobody would know the fucking difference because they look so silly. And they've got that extra skin on their ass, you know? Anyway, there's our insane headlines of the day. Be cautious if you go to a Chinese zoo because what you might be looking at could be a person wearing a bear suit or could be a dog that's been dyed to look like a wolf. Or perhaps a donkey painted to look like a zebra. Well, that's not even... That's
they weren't even trying there.
That's lazy there.
Yeah.
That's lazy. That is lazy. First impressions matter. There are no two ways around it. What's the first thing someone notices about you? In most cases, it's your face, and more importantly, your skin. If you aren't already, it's time to put your best face forward. How do you do that? By adding in a skincare routine. And you know what? It's not hard. You just don't have the right tools. Until now. Today's episode is brought to you by Caldera Lab, clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Caldera Lab is the leader in men's skincare and is here to save the day. Use our exclusive code RBP at calderalab.com/RBP to enjoy 20% off their best products. I'm in my mid-30s now. I've obviously hit the point in life where I have to start taking skincare seriously, but I wish I had started earlier, honestly. Caldera Lab has given me everything I need to look and feel my best on camera every day, which is huge. If you're no longer seeing results from your skincare routine or are simply looking to finally get into caring for your skin properly for the first time, Caldera Lab is here to help. They create high-performance men's skincare products, and The Regimen leads off their product lineup. It's a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. The skincare world is heavily female-driven and has long been the wild, wild west for men. Whether men can't find the right brand or simply lack knowledge and understanding of it, skincare is something that requires attention. Luckily, men's skincare has never been easier than it is now with Caldera Lab and The Regimen. Inside the Regimen bundle, you'll find your skincare dream team, the clean slate, the base layer, and the good. The only 3 products you need, in my opinion, to make sure your face is fresh and looking its best. You can see all 3 of those behind producer Kade's head here in our studio. Caldera Lab is made with top-tier ingredients and is a great addition to your daily routine. Takes less than a minute, morning and night. And here to reduce your wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. To get 20% off, use our code RBP at calderalab.com/RBP. That's 20% off at CALDERA, calderalab.com/RBP. Use code RBP. Jump into skin and first impression royalty with Caldera Lab. Go to calderalab.com/RBP today. Kade, have you heard anything or seen any photos of this new Las Vegas sphere?
I have, yeah. And I don't know anything about it.
I didn't really know anything about it
where it
either.
came from. I kind of assumed like aliens made it, maybe.
And they just dropped it there? Yeah. So I looked into it because obviously for the same reason. Like I saw a picture yesterday of it. It looked like a giant eyeball.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
And I was like, whoa, that looks extremely tight. What is happening? So I looked into it. It's here's some information from CNN. This new Las Vegas sphere is 366 feet tall, 516 feet wide, and it's being billed as the world's largest spherical structure, which nobody gives a shit about that. That's not what it should be billed as. There's a lot of other things here that I'm going to get into that are a lot more interesting than the fact that it's a sphere. The largest spherical structure.
It's spherical.
Yeah, but nobody looks into that shit. Well, I wonder what the largest sphere in the world is. Nobody cares. But its bowl-shaped theater reportedly contains the world's highest resolution wraparound LED screen. and its exterior is fitted with 1.2 million hockey puck-sized LEDs that can be programmed to flash dynamic imagery on a massive scale. Again, reportedly the world's largest. Now that I'm way more interested in, which is how they got it to look like an eyeball yesterday or whatever. They can basically turn it into whatever. They could be like, all right, today we're going to make it into a globe, and then they use those 1.2 billion hockey puck-sized LEDs, and the whole sphere from the outside world to the outside world looks like the globe.
Yeah, I'm seeing a basketball right now. I mean, that's pretty.
That's tight, though.
Yeah.
That's tight. It says it won't be open to the public for several more weeks at some point in September when U2 christens the entertainment venue with a series of concerts. That feels like a misstep. You got to get Kid Rock in there. Like, I saw Kid Rock's show in Vegas, and all he needed was a big-ass sphere to make it the best show I'd ever seen. I'm sure U2 will do just fine, though. Although, here's a quote from U2's The Edge, which is I believe their guitarist, and that is just the douchiest thing. He goes by The Edge.
The Edge?
The Edge.
That's super edgy of him.
Yeah. He said, quote, "There's nothing like it. It's light years ahead of everything that's out there." Deep. From The Edge. The sphere's exterior will be illuminated every day and night with the animations and other imagery sometimes tied to the season. For example, it could transform into a giant pumpkin at Halloween and a snow globe at Christmas. What fun, Kade. Sphere was designed by Populous, the global architecture firm behind many of the world's top sports arenas. Construction costs, inflated by the pandemic, have climbed to $2.3 billion so far on the Sphere. More than Sphere's glitziest Vegas neighbors, including the Bellagio and the Allegiant Stadium. So this thing cost $2.3 billion. The globe seats almost 18,000 people, sits one long block east of the fabled Las Vegas Strip, and will be connected by a pedestrian walkway to the Venetian Resort Complex. So it's right off the Strip.
Are you like inside the Sphere?
Yeah, you go inside the Sphere.
Okay.
It's like going into like a stadium or a basketball stadium or whatever, except the outside is cooler than any stadium that exists to me. And it's only 18,000 seats. So it's not like, NBA arenas are usually like 35,000, somewhere in there, 25,000, 35,000. NFL, goes up above that. I think the biggest college football stadiums eclipse 100,000 at this point. Yeah. So it's not that big. Like, what was Ohio State's? Don't y'all have like 100?
Like 105,000.
110 or something like that?
Something crazy.
So 18,000 people, and it says the acts on stage will be dwarfed by the towering 16K LED screen, which wraps over and around much of the audience and can augment the concert experience with trippy animations or close-ups of the performers. It sounds dope as hell.
They need to get Travis Scott here, because he would put on a crazy show.
They should have gotten this thing ready for Utopia, Yeah. Had it out and had it ready to rock.
So it's not done yet? Because I've been seeing this thing for a while now.
I think the outside is completely finished. It's the inside that has either not been cleared yet or I'm not sure exactly what's going on in there, but U2 will be in there in September. If you want to go see Bono, be like, yeah. It says, quote, "The screen goes from the ground level to 250 feet high all the way around." This is Claffey, the Sphere operations officer. Quote, "It keeps you fully immersed when you're sitting in that bowl. I used to love the IMAX in New York City, but this will blow that away," end quote. So maybe I can't go. Because that fucking IMAX theater messed me up, man. That thing, I was freaking out in there. It was too loud. I was too close. It was too much Tom Cruise sprinting and jumping off of cliffs. It says they also promise next level audio as well, with more than 160,000 speakers spread around the bowl. They will deliver the same pristine sound to every seat, whether someone is in the top row or down on the floor. The venue is also equipped with haptic seats that can vibrate to match whatever is happening on screen. An earthquake, for example. Why the fuck is that the example? I don't want to experience that. And 4D machines that can create wind, temperature, and even scent effects.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll like this.
It's too overstimulated.
Yeah.
It's like being on a ride, but also at a show. I mean, I could see how it would be incredibly tight for some things. Like, off the top of my head, I would love to see, Bon Iver there. That would be very chill.
Yeah.
And probably really awesome stuff.
Yeah, not going to feel an earthquake, probably.
Don't want that, no. Yeah, seeing Utopia there would probably change you.
Yeah.
have a massive panic attack.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't think I could like go stoned to that. That'd be too much.
Nah,
That'd freak me out.
I do want to smell Travis Scott while I'm in my seat though, since they've got that ability, the scent effects. What scents are they like? I'm imagining they're like, they could show like the Wizard of Oz and the part where they're walking through all the flowers, they could have like the smell of flowers come up through it. How does that shit work though? I want more information about the scent effects. Also temperature. What do they mean? Like
the seat you're in, like
if there's like some fire on screen, they're gonna like burn my ass. I don't know about that. I also don't want to. If it's like snow on screen, I don't want to be freezing my dick off, sitting there getting frostbite on my cock and balls. Can also create wind. Anyway, it sounds wild as hell. I kind of do want to go to this thing. I would just also like to be promised that I can get up from my seat and get the fuck out of there at any time. Because I think I might make it 20 minutes into the show, just being a very sensitive person that I am.
Oh, well, I am shocked because I had no idea it was all this. I thought it was just some fucking giant sphere that
was like
just
an art thing?
Yeah.
No, there's going to be people in there, dude.
There's going to be people in there.
What I want to know is, like, so when U2's performing, what is the outside going to look like? Like, what are they going to do with it?
I would assume it would just project whatever they were projecting, like, on the inside, maybe. I don't know what else they would.
Yeah, but then it's just free. You can just sit on the highway and watch.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll find out someday.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather go to this or Bananen Club or what the fuck ever it was called?
See, so I can either go to U2 at the Sphere.
Yeah.
Or I can go
eat a banana out of a sex performer's snatch at Bananenbar.
Sounds crazy, but I kind of want to do the latter.
Bananenbar?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're only in your 20s once, I guess. I'd rather go see Bono.
Bono, yeah.
Bono
and the boys.
Yeah. Change the world, That's what Bono's done. Check out the Sphere in Las Vegas. Not an official sponsor of our show, just something that I'm interested in. That will do it for today's pod, but please support our sponsors by hitting the links in the description of this episode and using our dedicated codes. That is how we pay the bills here at Bolin Media. You can find links to all of today's sponsors in the description below. Check out our other shows by going to bolinmedia.com. We've got Jared Borislow's F1 show, Formula Bone, giving you all the recaps and previews that you need for every race all F1 season long. We've got Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, where this week we'll be covering Barbenheimer, as it has come to be known, both Oppenheimer and Barbie. I'm going to try to get in to see Barbie tomorrow at some point. Become a Ken. What is it? I want to be Knuff.
Yeah, I am Knuff.
Yeah, I'll become Knuff by going and seeing Barbie tomorrow. Bolinmedia.com/shop to grab yourself some merch. And remember, every week we do one of these shows that's available to the public, and then we do one that's exclusively available to our supporters on patreon.com/RossBolinPodcast, where pretty much every week at this point, we take hotline calls from our listeners. We respond to them. So if you've ever wanted a chance to be featured on the show, you can do that by going to patreon.com/RossBolinPodcast today, where if you listen to any of the episodes, you will hear our hotline number. You can call that number and then leave your own voicemail. And if you leave a good one, Kade and I will respond to it on the show at some point, perhaps. So patreon.com/RossBolinPodcast to make sure you're getting 100% of the episodes that we put out every week in the form of the Ross Bolin Podcast. We will be back later this week with another ad-free exclusive edition of RBP on patreon.com/RossBolinPodcast. This episode of RBP is presented by Bolin Media, and video of today's show was produced by producer Kade Orris. Go to youtube.com/@the-Ross-Bolin-Podcast for full video of our show each week, as well as funny clips and whatnot in the form of YouTube shorts. And that'll do it. Until next time, peace be with you, and also with you.